All right, cool. So we live. Peace, everybody. This is your boy Ace, makes Corner Talk. So we was experiencing technical difficulty with my stream, so we had to come another way. Don't look at my, or don't mind the wrinkled background, all right? Because I know y'all so judgmental. So let me just put it out there before y'all start judging. Yes, my thing is wrinkled, so you can do whatever you want to with that bit of information. But we do have Sweets on the line, Steve on the line, and Logic back on the line. So before it ended and went haywire, man, we was getting deep on some stuff, man, and it felt like, you know, they was taking gloves off, about to get real raw knuckle, man. So we want to engage in that conversation again, because it just was it was some things we was hitting on that was very, very, you know, eye-opening, man. It was getting to a good conversation, and then all of a sudden it acts up. You understand? That's the way it goes. So
right.
I let Steve, if you would, I'll let you, or Ela, Sweets, if you want to join back in and get into that again, be my guest. Go ahead, do your thing, and then we gonna go. We gonna go hand in hand on that.
Okay. What were we talking about?
I think what we left off at is you can tell who you're dealing with. Yeah.
Right. That's not always the truth. That's for sure not always the truth. Because I'm telling you,
tell us your experience, Steve.
Of course. I'm just saying that people hide things, you know, initially. I mean, or either they just kind of put that side of them to the side until, you know, I guess they feel comfortable to tell you what the real deal is.
My stream is blurry. Logic, my stream is blurry. Where's Logic?
You on the line, Logic?
All right, let me text him. Okay, go ahead. They can hear us, so let's just continue on, man, because now we got a blurry live stream, so yeah, this is getting on my nerves. All right, go ahead.
Something come on. Y'all hold on one second.
It might be the reception.
I don't know what it is, man. It seems like this live stream is giving me some issues. I don't know why, but nah, Sweets, go ahead, and I'm gonna join in. So me and you we gotta duke it out. We're gonna have to just duke it out then.
No, he was saying something. I had mentioned that within a couple of, not necessarily minutes, but through a conversation or a couple of conversations, I feel as though men and women know who they are dealing with. And then Steve was saying that you don't always know, because he had a particular experience with a woman where, you know, it seemed like she was coming off as everything and so forth. So he went and did what he did, and she got pregnant. And go ahead, Steve, tell your story. Like, you told her you did not want no kids, and she wasn't trying to listen.
Nah.
Right. Well, I'm saying this, like,
let me.
Okay. You know, it's just like, you know how they start letting stuff go, like, okay, you initially meet somebody, and I'm gonna blame myself because it was my fault. But you meet somebody, okay, you look at the body, you're attracted to that, and as a young man, you know, you're just doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Not even thinking about the mental status. Not even thinking about that part. And then once you get, you know, you done that, and then all of a sudden they start letting mental loose. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
The real them. And you start to see that, you know, something ain't right.
Go ahead.
And then it's too late, in your opinion, at that point. So do you feel as though it might just be a little easier for us to kind of look into people who, the things that we don't want in a person versus what we do? Because I was saying before, when you look for things that you want in a person and you explain that to them, a good con artist or a good person who, is deceptive can play on your want and be that person, but eventually, who they are typically comes out. But if you just move forth with looking at a person from the aspect of what you don't want, then when those flags present itself, it's easier for you to just let them go. What do you think about that?
Well, it would have been nice for that to happen, but I mean, I went through a heat dealing with this thing. Me being young like I wasn't looking at it as, I couldn't see 18 years of dealing with it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just saw it at the moment, and what it was, it was like, instead of looking at the whole movie, it was more like scene by scene when you're young. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's not like a whole thing perspective. You're not looking all the way down. This joke gonna be grown eventually. Not. You just looking at, he's a child now, and this. So dealing with the person. I mean.
So does it still? So having said that though, and I guess she decided to keep the baby or whatever. Because let's be honest, we do have some females out there who, I don't know why. Maybe it's being naive or vengeful. Who knows? But they do end up either purposefully getting knocked by a man, or when they do, they want to do it because in their mind they're thinking that they can keep the guy. So if you're telling this woman you don't want to have this child and she still goes forth with it, does that still give the man the right to say, I don't want to be in my child's life? Because after all, you still did lay down with her. Right.
Now listen. Now that never was a case for me. Like I'm gonna be really real right now to make it look bad. I'm gonna be really real. I told her to have an abortion. Like I did everything I could to make her. I said anything I wanted to say out of my mouth to her, and I did whatever I had to do, what I thought I had to do to make this chick not have this baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because I really did not want to have a baby by her. I told her that. She called my house 1,000 times in one day, and I told her to stop calling 1,000 times. And she kept calling, saying she wanted to have a baby, and I kept telling her, yo, I did everything. I said everything I could.
Right.
Until she had the baby and I was there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I ain't never said I wouldn't take care of it, but it was just about, I don't want a baby by you. You feel me? That's what I said to her.
Right.
I made that very clear.
Okay.
You
just wanted to enjoy the flower patch and not have no responsibility in if you went ahead and fertilized fruit.
Right. But the thing was, she told me she was on something. And I didn't, like I say, I own this. I take responsibility for it. You feel me? It was me because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, protecting myself. But that was, she told me she was on the shot. I took that for what it was and ran with it. Not knowing her. You feel me? Not knowing her at all.
Okay. So, you're kind of like an exception because, we were discussing about how, the media and just different things in life are different and how we feel as though they took place into breaking down the family values and so forth. But it does start with us. You know what I mean? So you're kind of like an exception to the rule to where even though you did not want to have this child by the woman, you still stood up and took care of your responsibilities.
Yeah, when she had the baby, I was at the hospital, everything.
Right. And this is not an accurate statistic. I'm just saying. The majority of the time, the man doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Like they just dip out. Whether they have that conversation with the woman or they don't, they're not present into the household. So that's kind of like a crippling effect right then in itself.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
See, I grew up without a father. I could not do that. I could not. My daddy didn't do nothing for me. So For me to not do that, it would have been crazy.
Right.
I couldn't do it. You know, whether I wanted to or not, whether I wanted to run or not, I couldn't. I knew what I'd done, so I couldn't act like I didn't do it. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
I couldn't run from that thing.
I mean,
Okay. So what do you think? Okay, Dave.
Okay, let me interject. When we cross those boundaries, when you deal with a person that, you know, you either want to start a relationship or plan a future with, whichever one you categorize and put it first. Of course, you're not going to see the real person because you go through the phase of them trying to impress you. You understand?
Oh yeah, okay.
You go through the impression stage. Okay, all the right things are going to be said. All the right things they're going to do. You know, they're going to do tricks in the bedroom. They're going to do all that stuff. But then after a while, you can only uphold a lie, but for so long. You can only uphold your being, your character. If that's not you, you're not going to be able to hold that, but for so long. You understand? Because it's a facade or it's something you're trying to be, but you might not maturely be there at that particular point. Not saying you don't want to, you just ain't there. So you put on the act, portraying to be that. So you give a false reality, entering into a situation, trying to be something that you're not. Now, if a person goes into a situation or a relationship or something, being honest and saying, this is who I am, and then later on, who they say they was from the get is matching who they are. Not saying they can't grow to be better, but if it was a negative aspect of who they say they are, and it morphs into something positive, you can't blame that person if something outside of that happens because they was honest with you, right?
Right.
Right or wrong? Okay, so now somebody who pretends and then somebody who puts on to saying this is who I am, and then they change up and become this big monster later on down the line. Now you can say, you know what? It seems like you pretended the whole while because you was this way, but now you switched up and now look how you're acting now. You've been consistent with this particular character for a while now. And this is probably who you really was. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I see it that way because of experiences. Life shows you that you can only portray to be something you're not only but for so long before the real you exposes him or herself. If you're an abuser, if you're an abuser and you like to hit, okay, you ain't gonna show that the first time you get into the relationship with a female or a male. You're not gonna show that. You're gonna show the good side of you. But then after you get comfortable with a person, then here come the punches, here come the bruises, here come the black eyes. Now you saying to yourself, wow, I wish I would have known that when I got with you at first. You don't see that after the first month or two, because who's going to be with somebody who right off the gate start jabbing them and giving them wheel kicks and uppercuts? You understand what I'm saying?
It's not just for me, man.
Huh?
The thing that I saw, I'm gonna tell you what I saw. Right? The constant talking. You know, when you talk, okay. Does anybody know someone that constantly jabbers? Constantly. Like seriously, serious business. Constantly jabbers.
So
constantly.
Right. What do you mean by jabber? Clarify that, my man. What do you mean by jabber? Talks.
You're not even talking to this person. Okay? You're sitting there staring at the TV, not responding. Okay? Listen to me. And the constant jabber. Like, whatever they're talking about, they are constantly going for an hour and a half.
I'm saying
without response. Okay?
Right.
Without response to this person. And you like, what the fuck? Really? You got a fans though, but this motherfucker's crazy.
I understand, Steve.
But you initially, that don't come out.
Right. I get it.
But, you know, that's my situation. Like, I didn't see that at first, because if that would have been the case, you know, I'd have been, you know, I'm out.
Right.
I can't do this. Just being honest.
What if a person had a dual nature? What if somebody claimed they got dual nature? What about that?
What you mean dual nature? What is this?
What if a person say they got two personalities? What would you do with that? If they tell you right off the butt, I got two personalities, what would you say to that? I'm just asking a question. This is just something
that's hard to eat. Because if they're letting you know, that means they know.
Okay.
Two personalities.
So they're very honest.
No, two personalities, meaning they will switch up on you, I guess, when it's convenient. I don't know. I'm just asking that question. Like, if I say...
So you're talking about from a mental...
I don't know if it's a mental thing or not.
Standpoint.
Some people
because
believe
we all have two parts of our nature. We all have a ability to be positive or negative. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's all about, you know, what type of person are you? Do you gravitate more to where you want your life to be high vibes, or are you a low frequency? We both have, you know what I mean? We all have that capability. Now, if you're talking about someone who is coming forth and telling you, you know what, I'm crazy from 9 to 5 and then from 5 to 9, you know, I'm nice to tail. That's a situation.
All right, so somebody says, I'm a Libra, or I'm a Scorpion. You know, they known to have dual personalities. Is that the same as what? Would you accept that? Can you deal with that?
No, I would. Not them telling me straight up, no. Because if you know that you like that, that means you think you can use that shit when you want to.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay. So that means
you know what I'm saying? You can just pull it out when you want to. Well, I'm in my mode right now. I don't feel like talking.
I mean, I'll thank them for being honest, but no, not for me.
Right. Okay. I dig that. I totally feel that. So that means you would have to wrestle.
That you ain't gonna like.
Now go ahead, say something. No, go ahead, brother. Now go ahead, say what you gotta say.
A lot of women say this shit. They got two, you know, they have two, you know, they have dual personalities.
I think Sweet's about to jump in. Go ahead. I know she is.
You know, they glad a man can handle their shit or something like that.
Go ahead, Sweet.
Well, I mean, you have to take time. Here's what I'm saying. A lot of people, and I understand it may be harder for men to do this than women, and sometimes even women, you know, jump in. You know, the body, I guess, wants who they want or whatever. But at the end of it all, if you're talking about progressing with a person in a relationship type of situation, you have to take time to know the person. You know, we're in this world today where everything is so fast. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you could take that time because we did not have the ease or the accessibility of a phone right away, or logging on the internet to send somebody a text message or an email right away. It's just we're in a quick world.
Right.
And so we kind of got to be mindful of the way that the system is set up right now and still come back to ourselves and say, look, for my well-being, I really need to take the time to get to know this person. And if it's going to be a hit, if it's going to be a first night stand or whatever you want to call it, then just let it be that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I got the understanding that is the case. A lot of times men come off knowing from the get-go that all it's going to be is a hit, and they present this facade to the woman of something else. But then when he gets his hit and he doesn't want to be bothered, how can you fault the female for thinking it's something else and still at your neck as to why you not calling me? Why are you avoiding me? Why won't you do this? Why won't you do that? Well, you presented that stage, and now you want to exit as the star and leave, you know what I'm saying, supporting actress alone. Yeah, I mean, how does that work?
Right. I get it. How does it work?
Be real and be honest.
Yeah. I got you. That's how I prefer it. Like straight up off the gate, let me know what's happening, and it is what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As long as we got that going on, you know, because I've dealt with females that always acted like they had some damn body. So I took it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like every time you know what I'm saying, my boyfriend, you know, I'm talking to somebody. Okay. So we doing what we do.
Right. And then when y'all do what y'all do, because it started off as a deception, now you have little junior or little princess coming into the picture. They're innocent.
No kids. No kids.
Wrapped up.
But I'm saying.
Yeah. But what I'm saying.
Like, mad, well, because
of course.
I wouldn't take that serious.
Of course. But the last time we were talking about how we can shape our reality and make it better inside of this matrix, it all starts with you. You know, each individual and the communication that you both have with one another. If it's already presented to this woman up front that, listen, this is what it's going to be, blase, whatever. And it turns into that she's pregnant because on purpose she wanted to kind of lock you down, so to speak.
Right.
I still feel as though both parties need to deal with that. And a lot of people aren't doing it. So who do they have left to really raise their kids? Social media, reality TV, mumble rap, and everything else.
I guess.
Mumble rap. You're right. But you really can't. But you really. Now, I think the way it is now, the way it's set up, is that people just don't really care either way it goes. I'm finding out more and more that it's just people who want what they want when they want it, and once they finish with what they want, then it's off to the next. It's off to the next, and then that cycle of behavior continues and exists. It wouldn't exist if they didn't have key players to play it. You understand what I'm saying?
Where did that ideology come from? Was it something that we naturally just came up with, or was it a seed planted through some means of the matrix into the people to where eventually we all feel that this is the appropriate lifestyle? Because make no mistake about it, what was natural back then is shunned upon now, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I remember a day when a side chick was embarrassed to be a side chick. Now she's, you know, excited to be one.
Because it's about money and shit. Like, it's about what you can gain from it. It's always about that. Gain, like money or whatever you get out of the deal, or the investment or the praise of it. Like, yeah, you're right. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a whole different dimension.
Right.
Their mental is completely different than, like, you know, chicks back in the day. Mm-hmm. Which has always been side chick now. Let's not be, you know, silly about it. It's always been that.
Right.
Some of them proud, you know, some of them cared, some of them didn't care. But now, you know, these motherfuckers, like, man, you know, I'm not proud. I'm sitting on this face right now. Yeah, at my house right now.
Yeah.
She's taking a picture and she's sitting on this face where he can't see, and she's taking a picture of her head down there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
crazy.
It is what it is, man.
That's crazy.
Do you feel like any the music is influencing the youth to kind of, you know, grow up and feel that this is appropriate behavior at all? Because I hear that, you know, argument a lot.
Well, I'm going to say it like this. You got to realize, too, that was part of a culture at a particular time. You know what I mean? Back in the day, Muslims or whoever, having multiple people or multiple wives was a common thing because it wasn't looked at as just something to do. It was looked at as building the family structure, because when you had a multiple wives, they all had duties. You understand what I'm saying? They all had particular jobs and particular fashions they had to deal with. So it wasn't just saying, I got the wife and the side chick and the side chick. It was, I got 3 wives, but one of them is the cook, one of them is the nurturer, one of them is the
And let's not make the mistake, though, too, Ace, back in those times when they did, and I agree with you, that is part of some cultures of our people back then. But the man also was required to be able to not take on too many women that he could not handle. He had to be able to support and get the respect from the father, you know, the blessings from the father, be able to do that.
Facts. I agree with that. I definitely agree with what you just said. I mean, you definitely had to have the means to take care of multiple people, multiple wives. You understand what I'm saying? That was part of the structure, because that's where it takes a village to raise a family. That's where that whole concept came from. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's where it did. I mean, I'm just giving you facts, but it came from that. Because if you had multiple wives, but it morphed into today's outlook, or it morphed into what today is in our society today, basically is like a third wife or second wife. Basically, it's not. It's just the times have changed. But if the side chick and the wife or whoever, if they got along, it would be the same thing.
Yeah, it would be a lot easier on the dude, but I know I couldn't handle it.
But it's the same thing for me.
Yeah, I don't know too many women who would kind of sign up for that, but at the same time, I do understand.
Loving hip hop. All of these TV shows support it and show it. If you look at like some of these little ratchet TV shows, it's the same. They sleeping with this man, Stevie J had a baby with this man, now he with this chick. But all the while, during the whole process, y'all all together, just at different times.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't understand that has been part of our history in the past. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We're so trapped up and caught up in this, you know, system where it has taken away some of the natural things that occurred in our communities beforehand, to where they're not going for that. You know what I'm saying? If you ask the average woman, do you want to be in a polygamous relationship? They're going to tell you no, even though they might already be in one because they're the side chick. Like, they can't understand that. You get what I mean? Like, they can't
I get it.
Bring that link together to understand that, okay, you're already there. Why not make it a better situation?
Right. I understand what you're saying. I get that. I see what you're saying.
Right.
Why not just make it official, so that way you ain't got to keep going through the hiding. And
I mean, not even hiding, but it's just looking like a hope, or looking crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But you know, owning up to it would definitely help.
Right.
Yes.
And it sometimes is beneficial, and I'm not for it, and I'm against it, so I'm not for it. I don't know how to put it. So I'm not, don't get me wrong. When somebody watches, they go, oh, he said this. No, what I'm saying is, if you're just honest about it and just be out in the open, then maybe life will be easier. You know, a side chick is viewed a side chick because they're entering a vow that two people committed to. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you're interjecting a third person that is not a part of the vow. And it's frowned upon, because you're entering to a union that was designed to be two.
Right.
That's why you can't marry
to this society.
According to this society. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I couldn't do that shit. Hell no.
I mean, I was watching Growing Up in what's it called? Growing Up in Polygamy or something like that. One of them little TV shows that come on A&E or OM or whoever, and it was showing how the guy had about 7 wives. You understand? And he was one wife was, you know, did this and did that, and they was trying to figure out how do they get along, or how do they sleep together. Like, what is the whole parameter of what they do in the everyday life, you know? And some of them was like, you know, they don't get jealous when he's with her, or she don't get jealous when he with him. Like, It's like he picks what day he gonna be with one, and then one is the cook that cooks for everybody. Like it had different duties within that whole thing. But when I first thought about it, I was like, oh, he just having sex with all of them. That's just all he wants to do. But I think
it's not even about that.
It's not even about that, right? The perception that I had, that's what I was. Oh, he just got multiple wives so he can have sex. But it's really more structured than that. That's probably on the least of the totem pole. You see what I'm saying? It has more structure to it because I guess it's more about we're building families within families.
It's about the dynasty, okay? Our culture was about building dynasties, lineages, things of that nature. So, I mean, there's a lot of different arguments out there. One of the arguments is the reason why they do have a society right now where it's only one woman, one man, is because the bloodlines that are in power right now know that if we were to stick to that culture of building dynasties, they don't want no challenges from no melanated dynasty. You understand? Mm-hmm. They want to be the ones always in power. So that is one of the arguments out there as to why they created this doctrine of marriage, which really you don't need a piece of paper. You're actually telling them, I give you permission to tap into me and this woman that I decided I wanted to spend my life with life. I mean, that's what that marriage certificate does for you. Now, granted, they present different advantages with the taxes and the homes and, you know, all of that stuff along with it. But, I mean, that's a valid argument that's out there with regard to this polygamy type of situation.
Well, I heard something about, you know, marriage certificates. I heard something the other day. The dude was like, it's just like a paper that they have, the government has over your head, more or less. Like your birth certificate. It's like
it's a partnership to them. People need to understand that America is a business, and they want everything within their business documented. So your license is a means to them as a documentation of your partnership between you and that woman. They make money off of that certificate. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they tried to like. He was like, you know, it's all, you know, like, I mean, what do you need it for? Like, he was like, that's just a means for them to keep up with you and have a reason to
control.
You know, control, right? I said, damn.
Oh, that's just what it is. Control. They want to control your family. Yeah. They want to control your family.
Marriage certificates, all that shit. Just control method. Control method.
A marriage certificate in the eyes of the government and all these other entities is about control. They want to control how much money you're bringing in. They want to control where the assistance may go. Everything is centered around control. Why do you think other countries limit the amount of kids you got? You can't go to China and have about 10 kids. No, why? Because they want to control into some aspect the population.
Right.
What here in America, more kids is big business because they're anticipating a certain amount of children growing up killing. They're anticipating a certain amount of children going to jail. They're anticipating a certain amount of beings doing these different things that help society move in the direction they want it to move in. You understand? If you got a certain amount of killers,
on everything.
Right. A certain amount of killers are going to produce a certain amount going to jail. Or a certain amount of killers going to produce a certain amount of lives lost. Each one of those things produce what they want in society. So with us think about it, with us being, say you're married, okay, right? In that marriage, you hope to produce a decent family. But who's to say it is going to be one? You could produce a whole family of killers.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
But that could come from a family of people that have good sense or supposedly have good sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not really saying, man, this whole country is especially now, man. This is just ridiculous. We got this guy in office. this is getting crazy. I don't even know if we're gonna make it.
You like Trump sweets?
Do I like Trump?
Yeah. Did you vote for Trump?
No, absolutely not.
I'm just asking. No.
No, I mean, first of all, we talk about because Ace is crazy. When we come to this voting situation or what have you, it's like I hear so many different people argue back and forth. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? I want to say like this from just what I have observed, and other people may agree. You know, if you're going to vote, pay attention to who is in your local offices. Okay? Because ultimately, those are the people. Because we all know by now presidents are selected, not elected. And this is the truth. All right? Mm-hmm. They get into office based on the electoral votes of the different states who decide to give it to them. We've seen time and time again where the popular vote makes absolutely no difference. So one could argue
electoral college, that old
exactly bullshit. Right, and so one could argue that our vote don't count once it gets to the presidential status. However, if you're in your local offices and you take, you know, some type of time to see who is exactly running in your local areas, your governor, all of that good stuff, senator, vote in those. I mean, if you're a person who likes to vote, make sure you vote in those elections. Because those are the people who give away the electoral votes for the presidency. If the wrong person is in your local office, don't expect to see the president you vote for in there.
Right.
That's just my take on it. But, you know, people can agree or disagree, but absolutely not. I really don't get into presidential voting.
But you probably need to vote. I'm not going to agree with that because I didn't vote.
I voted for Obama once. I voted for Obama one time. He got in.
Right.
And after I seen that he was a sheep in wolf's clothing, it was no more.
Oh, you thought he was a sheep in wolf's clothing?
He absolutely is a sheep in wolf's clothing. He's with those people. He's related to them. He ain't do shit for the black people, regardless of what y'all want to say about it. He did not. If you look at the different bills and things that he passed, they're all fucked up. Like, really look into what he passed. I don't want to hear no arguments about he's black. A lot of people voted for him just because of that fact, me included. I did want to see some type of history in our books for our, you know, black children and so forth, that, yeah, you know, it's possible. But that was me being caught up in the emotional way of thinking at that time because I just couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? We were all in that emotional trap of like, oh, my God. But when you really kind of look at what he did in his presidency and really look at the bottom line, he showed up out of nowhere, and all of the different decisions that he made was not for his people. It was not. You mean to tell me you have the two top African Americans in political offices, both him and Farrakhan? He's from Chicago, and you can't do shit about what's going on in Chicago right now, and you're the president? And I don't want to hear no stuff about he couldn't do it because they wouldn't let him. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
I don't.
I'm not going to argue with you. If he could
give rights to gay people, then he could have marched himself in Chicago and did something about what the hell is going on over there with Farrakhan. Both of them niggas is suit up.
I'm not going
to hear what you're saying.
Touch that one.
But what I'm saying is, okay, marching there. Chicago is one of the deadliest places in America.
Pretty much.
The deadliest. Now Baltimore is right up there. You feel me?
Number 8. I think it's number 8.
They like kissing cousins, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's number 8.
First, actually. Yeah, but Baltimore, it's a lot of cities in Maryland that are like in there. Texas too. And like one city, Mecklenburg in North Carolina, but Chicago is littered with ignorance.
Yeah.
Him marching there doesn't necessarily mean that's going to change now, because you got to talk about young people that's going to do what they want to do.
Right.
Just because
We're talking about legislation. We're talking about legislation. I'm not talking about, of course not. I mean, the seeds are already planted in those people, but legislation could have been changed. Continue.
You know, even with that, I mean, I'm saying that how much more change do you think he's going to do, and how long do you think that would have lasted, or if it even would have changed, or if when it changed, was it really going to change?
Well, I mean, like I said, for those 8 years that he was in office, something could have been done. More schools, more more of whatever the case may be, whatever he could do. Nothing was done. Him, Oprah, and all the rest of them that come from Chicago do nothing for them. Now, would it ultimately change overall?
Man, where did he
Maybe
come from?
not. Maybe not, because, I mean, like I said, you know, certain seeds are planted, and let's be clear, there's other things going on with Chicago that is not being discussed and that we don't know behind the scenes. There's a lot of black ops things going on, different political agendas, and people say the mob is not alive and well, but yes, they are in Chicago undercover, and they got the police working for them. We got police dropping guns in alleyways for these children out in Chicago to get guns. It's corrupt as hell. Okay? So there's some things that could have been done.
Right.
Right. I think that shit everywhere, though. I don't think nowhere is perfectly honest and green. I definitely think that's everywhere. Everywhere is corrupt.
I agree with you, everywhere is corrupt, but this is your hometown. This is your hometown.
I mean, man, you can't do so much. Either way.
And I just don't accept that. I just don't accept that. A lot of people do, and I just don't.
I got you. But I mean, you know, what can you do? I mean, you know, you got to look at it that way. What
we could do as the people is stand up like the people of yesterday used to do, instead of marching holes in our shoes, which mean absolutely nothing. You think they give a fuck that you decide to go out every time a nigga is killed and march a hole in your shoe? No. What happens is you put some type of action behind your word. Your actions is what means power. Stop buying into the system. Stop doing the things that they want you to do. Stop becoming the beast that you talk so much about. That's what you can do. I just can't accept at this point in time in 2018 with all these resources that we have, the argument of what can you do? You can do so much.
Well, I'm just saying, She
done backed you down, didn't you, bro? She like a pit bull in a skirt, son.
I ain't kidding you, but you next.
She's a pit bull in a
One
skirt.
person is not going to do it. You know, we need a collective of people, and it just kills me because we want to talk about, oh, the white man did this, the white man did that. Well, how the hell you think things is going to change if they're preying on you, P-R-E-Y, and all you got to do is pray, P-R-A-Y? How does that work?
Ooh. Smoking gun.
Like, seriously, how does that work? You need to do more. Sky Daddy is not going to save you for everything. He helps those who help themselves. Open up the door to let him in. Stop marching and put some action behind it. That's what we can do as a starting point.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but until that happens, I don't know what really to say.
Activity over like humble stuff. You don't like the humble stuff.
Well,
Say again? I'm a revolutionary. I like the Malcolm X approach.
Okay, Black Panthers. I got you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I need to see a revolution. I need to see a revolution.
People are not ready for that.
Everything.
People are not really ready for a revolution, man. People are so scared.
You're right.
They're scared.
You're right.
The revolution can't happen because people are so feared up.
Exactly. They are. And it's unfortunate.
You know why? Steve, break it down. Do you want to know why?
Wait.
I want to know why.
People are too high for a revolution. They're not even in their right mind for a revolution. How can we get ready for a revolution if they can't even stay off the lean to be even sober or even clear thinking enough to even have a revolution? That's why people know. Huh?
That's by design. And let me tell you something. This is what kills me. People will sit in front of a PS4, Xbox One, whatever the hell the new console is on. They will study a game. Oh my God, for hours. They will study how to get through the game to be the one on top, not realizing they're in the biggest game of all. And they fail every single trap in this game every single time. How are you studying something that is on a console with all that energy, but you can't see the shit that's being put in your face before you in reality so that you can dodge those particular type of traps that the system set so you can get ahead in life? How does that happen?
Because they don't want to be, they don't want to see it's the mentality. It's an existing mentality. By it's being an existing mentality. Hold on, yes. Okay, by it being an existing mentality, what happens is that when you exist, you only look to survive.
Right.
When you look to excel, you look to create. So a lot of stuff that we've been talked about is not talking about creators. It's talking about people that looking to exist within a certain spectrum.
Good point, man. Good point. I'm gonna take my hat off on you on that one. Good point, Logic.
That was good. He came right in out the blue.
Yeah, drop the bomb, bam, bam. He out. Nah, I understand. That's a good point. Say that again. If they're existing, they're not looking to create.
Yeah, I mean you gotta realize like Replace is saying, it was like and she's on point. Everybody is looking just to play the game. Is looking to fit in. You hear even in our analogies, you gotta realize like our music, everything we said, the game is to be sold, not to be told. See, it's all about existing within somebody else's creation. And I'm not saying like the creation of like a higher power. We looking to exist within a system. It's like nobody to make their own system. They want to exist in somebody else because it's easy to exist in somebody else's system. But now when it comes to creating your own dynamic, see, now you're talking about being a creator. Look at YouTube, for example. Some guys will just stay on YouTube forever because guess what? It's easy. It's easy to just go in here and hit live and set it up or whatever. But now when it comes to creating something for yourself, that a perfect example, and I use this, is that if you ever get outside of YouTube and you get on your own website, you start doing stuff like that, you will see that you create prices for ads. Right. You get 80% to 20%. Now, and it's using the same Google AdSense, right?
Right.
Google AdSense will give you 80 to 20 for your website. You know, you don't even get 20 to them getting 80 on YouTube, but guess what? It's already a system there. And guess what people will do? They'll go in on an already existing system and look to exist instead of being what we call successful and be creators. It across the spectrum, if we look at it, it is our issue. We are happy with existing. And then we sold the concept of existing. Oh, I just want a husband or a wife, 2 kids, and a white picket fence. That is an existing mentality. Because now a creator mentality, hey, I want to fucking own all this shit here, have fucking 20 kids, and then guess what? Set up something where we have we have more. We have, like, if we got 30 acres, by this point, we're going to have 40 acres or 60 acres or 7 acres. You're creating something. You're actually building some type of dynasty. And
that's what I was talking about earlier. That goes back to that in this whole bloodline situation. You know what I mean? When Ace, you asked that question, what's the purpose of it or whatever, it's because of that fact. Like, our people back then knew that if we created like a dynasty, you know, it would be branches off of different wealth, different knowledge, and things that we could put into the next generation to obtain power. And so these people, like I said, they study everybody, including themselves.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Please be understanding that we're talking about white supremacy when we're talking about the elitists. Even they study their own people underneath them and have them in a certain type of stronghold. They just come at them in a different type of way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And see, but
But,
because see, when people say a white supremacy, and see, I think what they do is they fuck up people mentality. When you say white supremacy, to me that's a fear tactic. What they need to be,
it is a fear tactic.
They need to be saying is like, look, the motherfuckers that's in charge.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to, because you know people will look at this and be like, oh, well, no, just be the motherfuckers in charge.
Right. The have
the systems.
Right.
So now they control the system that you exist in. The reason it's not easy, it is not a blueprint to be a creator, is because they control the system that you exist in. And guess what? We do the same thing to each other. It's a power thing. We do the same thing to each other. If you have a business, guess what you would do? If you had a business right now and you had Ace Secret Chili, you knew the recipe. Would you share the recipe with the cooks? No, you're not. Because guess what? You don't want that cook to get out and start making your shit.
Exactly.
You're going to have everything set up to where, you know what? All you got to do, goddammit, is pour the bags in this bucket. Nobody knows Ace secret recipe. See, because now it's you know what? Power is real. Well, power ain't wrong. But when you sit here and power is only wrong to the people that is being influenced. Because if you had the power, then guess what you'll say? You'll be like, no, I'm not going to give up my secret Ace chili. I'd be a fool to give up my recipe. And recipe.
You know, you always want to have somebody in the background. I'm going to find out that damn recipe. I don't give a damn what to say.
Everybody ain't out like corruption and all that, man.
Hold on.
Everybody ain't out.
Let me add this in. So to open up perspectives. If I don't know Ace secret recipe and I want to compete with Ace, what do? I create my own.
Oh, yeah.
That's the difference.
Right.
That's the difference between existing and you can sit here and you can get a contract with Ace and then Ace will send you his bag. You don't know the secret recipe. You just pour that pot together. You existing or you're being a fucking creator. Which one is harder to do? Exist or create?
Create.
That's why niggas just exist. I shut up now.
Right. No, you good? You supposed to shoot.
Ace, I like where you were going with that because that point that you brought up with, you know, we're all high, so to speak, you know, the majority of the population, that is part of, you know, the agenda, you know, going in with the depopulation as well as, you know, if you're controlling the minds of the people, you know, that you always have to get the mind. If you can't get the person's mind, then there is no level of control or fear you can put into it because they just block themselves off from that. That's why you have people who are awake, like the panel and other folks, because we're able to see the BS when they come.
Right.
But the majority of the people are under the influence of this mind control, and they do use drugs as a way of controlling the people.
But you know what's worse than drugs though? Phrases that teach us the way to think. Just like I mean, I heard this phrase and anybody high off life.
What does that mean?
See what I'm saying? High off life. That phrase that said that, you know what I'm saying? And if you sit back and you just take it for high off life, you say, okay, that means live life to its fullest. To get high off life, enjoy life, right?
Right.
But to get high off life is, when I look at it, is to exist the best way I can. To get high off life. To take benefits of, you know what I'm saying, everything that's given to me within a system. Let's get high off life. And you gotta wonder why you got millionaires. Like, just say for instance, you got LeBron James, right? Probably one of the richest basketball players that ever exists. Some people say he's the best, right?
Right.
His sons is what? Basketball players, right?
Right.
Don't you think that it'll benefit LeBron James to sit here and make a basketball league? Because he got the money. He got the backing.
Right.
But guess what LeBron want to do? He want to exist. He want to exist. He's happy. See, he's not thinking, LeBron James is not thinking about his kids. LeBron James is looking and say, hey, I'm getting enough money to make my kids happy. But guess what? That money ain't going to be shit, because his kids in a minute, you're going to buy 2 Lamborghinis and a mansion, and daddy money gone, because you did not leave them kids a legacy. But if he would have took them millions of dollars, he would have used his goddamn popularity and develop a basketball league like, what's his name? LeVar Ball?
Yeah.
That's
LeVar Ball smart.
That's a legacy. Because his sons, whether they make basketball or not, guess what? We're in charge of the JBA. But see how many niggas is upon LeVar Ball. How many black men? No. How many black men went in and did that? That's the difference. They don't want to create. They want to exist. They got that systematic mentality, and I don't blame no elitists. I don't blame no elitists. I blame the people that exist. The system only works because you let it work.
So you don't blame the people, you blame the system.
No. I don't blame the system. I blame the people.
Oh, okay. Let me make sure I heard it right. Okay.
Yeah. Because how can you blame a system? Like, a system is designed to what? To, like, any system you got, it will do what it's designed to do. I say this a lot. A car can't fly, right? Because it's not designed to fly. You know what I'm saying? A goddamn a helicopter can't sail because it's not designed to do that. Things are designed for a purpose. That's why it's a system.
Right.
A system is designed to give you an illusion of control. But guess what? If you look at any system that you got, it can't run by itself. It needs fuel. It needs power. And the power comes from the people. The most important part of a system is that power source. What powers the United States of America? The people.
And they get a lot of that power and that energy through your casting of the votes during these elections. That's a different avenue. That's dealing in the metaphysics. That's another conversation. Logic and I deal a lot about spirituality, energies, and things of that nature. So I'll save that for another time. But these people, there's a lot to it to help people. But go ahead.
No, I cannot look at your live friend Ace, because this shit, I'm looking at a hangout. That shit look funny, man. I was like, oh, this ain't
Yeah, I just put the fist up, man, and close that journal. I just got us talking, man.
Yeah. No, you're good. It just don't look Ace-like. You know what I'm saying?
This started acting funny, man. I said, what the heck? But I guess it's going right now, so I'm assuming.
Am I wrong because I don't think about the stuff that y'all talking about often?
Yeah, you did wrong, G.
I ain't gonna say he's wrong. He's not wrong. It's just that, you know what I'm saying, it's nobody's fault, but what happens is that we're trained to exist. You know what I'm saying? It takes a little bit, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to talk about this that much, but the reason why I look to create and not exist is because I saw a less controlling environment in my life. You know what I'm saying? And I done seen different types of, like I told people, you know what I'm saying? I done seen Ethiopian people. I done seen Egyptian people, and not the Egyptian people that the country community try to sell us. I done seen people in Abidjan. I done seen people in Kosovo. I done seen people in Macedonia. I done seen people in Korea. I done seen people in Afghanistan, Iraq. I done seen Canadian people. I done seen British people. But what you can do is you can take every good thing out of them cultures and you can put them together and you can see what's right.
Right. I got you.
I get it.
You. Yeah.
And when you see what's right, you'll start seeing that a lot of people say that America, we is the land of the free, but America is the land of existence.
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, you here, you exist in America, and then you're raised with that mentality that I'm doing good just to exist. Because when you exist, you die, and you would die on your dying bed, and you are worried about your kids. And you're only worried about your kids because you did not leave them a legacy. See, when you say these old sayings, rest in peace. See, rest in peace was a mentality that when you lay your head and you took that final rest, that you was at peace with your life because you worked and you created. But see, when you leave, nobody rests in peace because everything we left for our kids, we left them to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
That's how I was left.
That's deep. Hey,
I
Sweet,
know
you
I'm
still there?
like that when my mom died.
Say that again?
Where's Sweet's at?
I'm here.
She probably got them cussing me out in the text message.
Yeah, I was just trying to see. Yeah. I was just making
No, I'm here.
Yes, she did. She said, Logic, what the fuck?
He lying.
Oh, look at this shit. All right, I'm going to put your ass on blast. Ace, I'm going to send you this text message. You just text me right now.
I didn't get nothing. Shut up.
No. We good, man. I think the hardest thing for us to do is really look at ourselves in the mirror and look at ourselves and enjoy what we see. Like right now, a lot of times in my life, I didn't enjoy what I saw.
Right.
But you would never tell that I could enjoy what I saw because I had the things that reality told me, money, hoes, cars, and clothes. You know what I'm saying? I had that. But see, once I started seeing that people can live in an environment where a mass majority of them don't care about what type of shoes you got. I learned that from Korea. Well, when I went to Korea. You been to Korea, bro?
Nah, man, I was only in NTC. That was it.
Oh yeah. When I went to Korea, you'll see a man with some busted up, not really busted up, but you know how us, if it's dirt on the shoes, he's not gonna wear them, right? You'll see like he with a banging female, and I would ask this question like, why is everybody's shoes dirty? I ask myself in this career all the time. I was like, why is everybody's shoes dirty? You know why? Because they don't give a fuck. Because it don't matter. Because a shoe is designed to do what? Protect your feet from what? The rocks, the ground, whatever. Make sure. So it serves a purpose. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
Guess what they invest their money in? Long term. You know, when I got them went out and I be with my Katusas, well, the Katusas is fucking is the Korean American, or the Korean augmentees to the U.S. Army. So what essentially they Korean citizens that work with us, live with us, everything. They don't live with me because my rank was too high, but they lived in the barracks and everything like that. Young soldiers.
Yeah.
You know, every last one of them, their parents have businesses. Their parents have something that when they die, they can say, I leave this to my kids, and then I can rest in peace unless they fuck it up. Right. think about when our parents die, right? Even though some of them might, you know what I'm saying, they might get lucky and then everybody have a LeBron James, somebody have a doctor, somebody have a lawyer. But as a man, when I die, I want to say, you know what? Janaya got this, Javon. I can see and say, they got something that I left for them. Because now if I leave it for them, if I invest something in something, my little girl, my boy, guess what they're going to do? They don't got to say, well, Dad, I need to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. They can say, Daddy, you got this. I'm going to go to school for this and this and this and this. And I'm coming to goddamn build your legacy. They buy in on it. And guess what their kids going to do? They buy in on it. And then now, with a legacy like that, just say we did houses. And we buy houses and we rent them out. This is a legacy. I start off, I said, hey, kids, I'm about to die. But I'm leaving y'all 4 houses. Y'all keep up the family rental business, and y'all do that. When my son passed away, he'll tell his kids, hey, I got 15 rental business right here for y'all. Y'all keep the family good. His kid died. They said, hey, I got a whole city for y'all. Y'all take care of this city. You see that's a legacy?
Right.
You see the difference?
Right.
Now,
I
see,
get it.
that's why we don't think, because we're not trained to think like that. Because if we're thinking like that, we're a big threat to the system. Not no nigga on YouTube talking about, yeah, stop the fuck Donald Trump. They laugh at that. They laugh at it. You tell you why they laugh at it? That's why they give free YouTube channels. Go keep the people distracted. Keep them focused on us instead of them focused on themselves.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So now they rewarded these niggas YouTube channels. Huh? Go ahead. Just tell them to focus on us.
Right.
And that's why the whole white man argument don't even work. Just
no, it do work. No, it works.
I'm talking about the argument about waiting for these people who control the system to do something for you. It's not your system. It's theirs. Create your own.
Fact.
Yes,
Stop waiting. It's just like going to somebody's house. You can't tell a man how to reconstruct his household. It's his house. The only thing you can do is go build your own damn house and make your own household.
Yep.
Agree.
That same concept.
You know, y'all making me feel bad. Y'all making me feel bad because I'm gonna go through this goddamn page show and I don't want to do it now because y'all got me. I don't know, got me back in my mojo. What's that?
I mean, you talking about feeling bad. You speaking the real stuff.
No. Your two plays on about. She said that logic. You didn't get that logic. You know what I'm saying? We just had this conversation yesterday. She right. It kind of feels good.
Hey, look. So I'm in the live stream, and we're gonna pick back up at I could text y'all. So maybe tomorrow, maybe some. We'll see, but we'll try to pick back up, and we'll have something different. I'll all bring something different together.
Yeah, but we gotta go to Food Club and Shelter do it just so people can know you back.
Hey, that's cool with me, man. I just need to get this stuff
figured out. This conversation too good.
Yeah, my stream is too good, dumb, man.
We got 3 people watching, man. This don't make no sense.
Just because the stream is like, we got to present it better, man. It's just the stream has been so choppy and stuff is not acting right. So we can definitely get it back going, right?
Y'all just let me know. I'm here.
I ain't let you know that.
Nah, I get it.
All right, yeah. Hey, make sure y'all check me out, man. I'm doing a little comedy thing, a YouTube Love Connection comedy thing tonight.
What time?
Wow.
I'm gonna probably do it in the next probably about 30 minutes. I gotta make a couple of phone calls.
I'm trying to lay down, but I'll tune in. Definitely.
No, you good. You check it out on rerun.
All right.
It's gonna be 30 minutes.
Oh, you know I will. I definitely will do that.
All right.
I ain't even
man.
catch no sleep. All right, let me end this real.
Peace and love.
This your boy Ace from Ace Corner Talk. I appreciate my guests on the panel. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate those who will watch it and on the future, you know, the rebroadcast or whatever. Thank you for joining me, and we will be back on the next occasion. This is Ace. Peace. We out.